Resident Evil 3 is the 2020 remake of the 1999 original. With a short runtime and less grandiose nature, it's seen as the red-headed stepchild of the recent RE remakes. It's coming to Game Pass for cloud, console, and PC, and despite all that, I still think it is well worth a download. Routinely gorgeous, there's lots of fun to be had here with Jill and Carlos. Of course, it's not all sunshines and daisies, as your resident nemesis continually rears his ugly and frustrating head. Let's break it down in a short little XboxEra review for Resident Evil 3. Resident Evil 3 starts with a bang, literally. From the start, you'll be taken in by the game's gorgeous graphics as the formerly titular nemesis chases young Jill Valentine out of her apartment and halfway across Raccoon City. The majority of the early game is Jill trying to get to the subway and then fixing the local power system so that she and civilian survivors can flee. Raccoon City is under siege from the dead, and Umbrella has sent in their men to, help. Carlos is one of those men, and unlike the rest, he's not a massive pile of shit. You'll play mostly as Jill early on and swap to Carlos for a bit later. He gets lots of ammo and assault rifle right off the bat. Whereas Jill can dodge and roll to avoid the biters, Carlos will throw elbows as he fights off the zombie hordes. The game is packed full of classic Resident Evil style puzzles, which always look and feel kind of odd in these close to photorealistic remakes. You'll visit downtown Raccoon City, a power station, the sewers, and go back through RCPD and beyond in this very incredibly short title. I clocked in around 5.5 hours of runtime, and honestly, I was kind of fine with that. It can be a bit short for full price, though. Going for 100% completion can net you roughly 20 hours of playtime. As a Game Pass download, though, I think it's perfect. The story told here is far tighter than the other remakes, and by the time I saw the end credits roll, I felt ready to be done. RE3 Remake's flipping gorgeous most of the time. Higher quality textures than 2 are only hampered by a very low distance on high quality animations. Any zombie about 15 feet or further from you tends to animate at half or lower frames, is very fuzzy, and it just detracts from how beautiful everything else is. Jill and Carlos have top quality character models, with most major characters looking pretty damned good too. The gore on the zombies as you take them out isn't, I don't think, as high as 2's remake, but it was still really bloody. The Series X and S patch that hit last year is excellent outside of those animation issues. When the music kicks in, it fits the more Michael Bay mood of the game's set pieces, and the voice acting is routinely mediocre-ish. Jill and Carlos's VAs give it all they got, but it's not nearly as well written as I found 4's remake. There's an inherent cheese to Resident Evil, and I felt like 3 was just a bit too serious most of the time for me. And I've missed talking about Nemesis, whose name was in the original, and his constant S.T.A.R.S moans. It always made me laugh back then, and I would have appreciated things being a bit goofier. And Nemesis himself just ends up being an annoyance. He's unable to be killed, really, until the story allows. He's just that nuisance to run into, run away from, and the controls, especially dodging zombies, can be a right pain in the ass when you're doing it. If you get grabbed by a zombie, you're going to have to mash A as quickly as you can, though that doesn't end up avoiding damage. You'll get a sometimes far too long animation of being bitten, though never infected, before you fight them off. The title also comes with Resident Evil Resistance, which is a 1v4 PvP mode that I didn't like at launch and I don't really like now. But the Game Pass effect should help with the player count, so if that mode is for you, it might have that much bigger audience to play with, at least. Wrapping things up, Resident Evil 3's remake is the weakest of the recent trilogy, 2, 3, and 4, but it's still a damned good time. With it come to Game Pass, I don't feel bad recommending a download, as its short runtime means you can finish it easily enough in a night or two.